Hello, hello. How are we all doing? Gonna get into why I'm a little bit late in starting up today. A little bit infuriated. I've calmed myself down a little bit now. So let me just get going here. We are live. YouTube has been a little bit difficult with me, but we'll get into the reason why in a second. We're gonna just jump straight into today as well. Just give that a share as well. There we go. So we are now live. Lovely stuff. Good evening, Carl. Always first in. I do apologise. It is a little bit delayed in what I'm doing here. I had a copyright strike from YouTube of one of the tracks that I was reviewing in an earlier episode, so it was restricting me from going live. It only came through like 2 days ago, and I've been trying to get it resolved. But we're here now, and we're sorted, and we're live. Do we sound okay? That's another thing I'm concerned about. I've had to swap out the camera as my 4K camera wasn't working. Anyways, we'll just get straight into it today. Lovely stuff, lovely. So if you've just joined us now, I haven't had a chance to share this anywhere, so I do apologise. So if you could share that, I'd be hugely grateful. I've just put it on my socials now. We'll get this going, I promise, in a couple of minutes. Let me just make sure it's going everywhere. I'm infuriated, honestly. What I've had to do to get this going today has been drastic measures. This is a third attempt, so here we are. I feel like a right boomer, like saying all this online. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm just struggling with technology. Shut up, man. Come on. You're better than that, Bradley. Right, I'm just sharing this on my socials. In fact, fuck it, we'll just go live. So I want to jump straight into today. I've came with an agenda, as always. I've got topic of the week and we've got off record, and that's probably going to take us through the whole episode because we've got some really good questions to get through in this. So we'll just jump straight in. Again, we are live with in the chat. So if you do ask any questions and whatnot, I will reply to you in there as well. So there'll be a little section of that too. So how's everyone been? I haven't been on social media so much in the last week, which I'm going to get into in a second, probably for good reasons, which I'm quite happy about anyways. So, see, I'm that unprepared, as you can see. I've still got my decks cover and everything on, so we'll just get into it. Here we go. Right, so the topic of the week this week, I won't wait around for anyone else. If anyone else joins, then fair enough, that's cool. The topic of the week this week is social media ruining the fun of music. I've had this conversation with, I don't know, 20 or 30 people recently of how social media. I'm going to give you my personal opinion, and then we're going to be quite on the fence with it because I don't want to sit here and complain and say this, that, and the other because it has got its upsides as well. That's how I mainly communicate with people through social medias, if you include things like WhatsApp and that as well. So, hello, Howard, how are we doing? So, what I want to jump into first and foremost is how I'm feeling. At the minute, I'm feeling a bit fucking shit, if I'm honest with you. I've spoke to some people about it. I'm happy in my day-to-day life. I'm happy with my job. I'm happy with my family. But music-wise, I've never felt so disconnected from the music in my life or the scene. I'll give you a little rundown of what's happened and why. So, over the last couple of weeks, I've been like, I'm just sick of the social media side of things, and which we'll get into in a second. But the constant barrage of having to one, put your own content up, and two, have to put up with people's fucking drivel online that they think is content when it's really really not. This is me speaking truthfully. Many people won't say this publicly because I think it maybe affects their sort of notoriety or respect with people. But I've gone past the point of caring at this point. And my thing is that it only dawned on, it's been for about, I don't know, 2 or 3 months, really like bugging me of like I'll be honest with you, it's been longer. But for the last 2 or 3 months, it's almost every single post I'm seeing online, whether it's Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, whatever, you'll scroll down the news feeds and it's just absolute drivel constantly from people who are, let's be serious, they're not your fucking Calvin Harris's of the world, but they're making out that they are. And I felt like I maybe fell into that little cycle of things, and it wasn't on purpose. It sort of, I was making these videos, if you remember, that I was putting on YouTube and TikTok and Facebook and whatnot, and it was just me listening to my record collection, and I really really enjoyed doing that. But then a lot of people started doing it. How we doing, Jew? Welcome to the room. How we doing? A lot of people started doing that, and it come across as a bit gimmicky and a bit oh, I'm doing this for social media engagement. And for me personally, I was just doing it to share my record collection. So if you noticed, I just stopped doing it one day. And the reason I stopped doing it was because I didn't want it to feel like it was a content machine. I was just literally sharing, I love this tune, I love this genre of music, and this is why I do it. And it's the only time where I felt like fell into that sort of content churning of shit. And I'll be honest with you, I don't like it. Being a DJ in 2026, if I was starting out day one, if hand on heart, I don't think I'd be a DJ. That's just me being truthful. I don't want to be a public figure where you have to be in everyone's faces all the time. I do this on a Tuesday evening, and I put a mix out once a month, and I run the label. But the label, I'm not a face of the label as such. It's Manic Music. It's its own thing. With the mix that I put out every month, again, the music does the talking. That's what it's all about. And with this, if you come to watch this, you're watching it because you want to. I'm not there pushing this down your throat on social media. I've even stopped putting clips of this out because I just can't be bothered with having to feel the need to force myself down people's throats. And I don't know if anyone else can feel the relation to this or not, but I certainly am feeling the burnout of just social media shit. I did say on my social media this morning, I haven't posted in a short while, but my engagements went down 51% in the last, I think it was, what was it? No. Yeah, 51% in the last 28 days, and in the last 90 days, it's gone down 61. And do you know something? I'm really happy about it. It's like you should be like chasing those numbers, but I'm just happy that I'm not. If people want to come and check out who Brad Refresh is or who Manic is, they can do it off their own back. Obviously, I will share my music because I believe my music is good. If it wasn't good, I wouldn't put it out. Or if I didn't believe it was good, I wouldn't put it out. And I think that the people who appreciate what I do, or if you're listening, you're an artist yourself with what you do, it shouldn't be about having to post shit online all the time. I understand the game though, where it's all one big game, and I understand that's the point, and that's why we're going to have this conversation. Jew says, what is your shoe size? My shoe size is 13. Random, but I'm sure there's method behind your madness there. That's why you asked. Carl says that the music's got sick of talking over the top melts who are just happy to chat shit online. This is exactly it. And once we get into the questions later, I've got some questions that's been wrote in that's really, really hit home with how I'm feeling, and I'm assuming other people are feeling the same way as well. So with this, I want to know if you're tuned in now, what makes within 2026, is social media ruining the fun of being a DJ? And that's a simple question I want to know. Like, how important is it? I'm going to say extremely important in 2026. If your face isn't out there, a lot of the time you won't get booked. And if someone goes, no, let the music do the talking, I'm going to be as straight as I can with you. I really, really wish it was that way. But then all you need to do is look at like influencers, like Gok1 getting DJ sets in these big places, and influencers getting DJ sets who've never touched a set of decks. That's where the failure is. If you come up with an argument and say, like it is just based off skill, people book people off their vibe and what they're about. It is true to an extent, but the truth behind it is people would rather book someone like a Gok1 who's going to he'll share it on his social media and he's an influencer and I feel bad on shooting on him, but he's the first person to come to mind. If he can pull in 200 people and you can only pull in 10 people, the promoter's going to pick them over you, and it's just the harsh truth of it. It's a necessary evil, and I just wish I was around 20 years earlier, because I'm all about it's all about the music and being judged on what you can do and what not. And I'm going to tell you, it really, really hit home because, like I said, I've been feeling like this for a couple of months. And the thing that really hit home was, I was saying to John, we have a studio session Saturday night, I think it was. We had two ideas floating around, two original vocals were sitting there. Ideas were already wrote down in my notepad here. And we thought, right, we'll just hit them off. That Saturday night, I've never enjoyed the scene as much in a long time, over a year, because we sat down and just writing music, and that's what it's about. And then I'll be honest, from probably Friday up until Monday, I didn't log into Facebook at all. I think maybe, I don't know if I logged in or not. I don't know. It was a background thought. Same with Instagram. But then you get things like logging in on Monday morning and you're seeing, I think the first 5 posts were just bullshit posts. Someone like trying to create an engagement fucking ring of nonsense, a nonsense flyer that I'd seen. It was just shit after shit after shit. And I don't like being pessimistic, but people are forcing content onto their social medias. If everyone posted little and often, our news feeds would be full of all great content, like a new track, an event sharing that you haven't heard about or rammed down your throat, genuine points of view on things. Like, I love a good debate about music, genres. This is why we do this. The point is, if we sit here and just force shit down people's throats, people switch off. People and it is shit. There's no debating it. People are using things like your chat GBTs and your Geminis to cook up things that they can do online to have a little bit of relevancy and engagement. And honestly, if it's boring the fuck out of me, it's boring the fuck out of a general listener. That's just my take on it. But I'm going to read out some of the notes I've made here. So some of the pros is, obviously, the reach is massive. If I didn't have social media, I don't think my music would have been heard out of Cumbria, if I'm honest with you. That's just, again, one of our biggest markets for MANIC as well is Poland. I've never played in Poland, but there is an audience there and we see that statistically. So yeah, social media helps in that regard. Obviously helps promote gigs, promotes releases. You do build your own audience to an extent, but then if you're pushing just nonsense content, people, as I say, switch off. Obviously there's opportunities and bookings there. I remember back in, I'm going to say 2013, this was a big one. I think if there used to be a forum where for DJ bookings, and if you had your CV of what you've done and a demo mix and things like that, you could submit it and get work from there. It's a fantastic tool in that regard. I'm not sure if that forum's still going or not. So let's see what we've got here. Joshua Digital says, it's a major tool if you want to get anywhere. It's not just our scene, it's all across music, sales, marketing, products, etc. That's why you have massive companies, actually people with social media titles for job marketing. And I fully agree. Like I say, it's got its place. Social media exists and it's got a huge financial investment for these reasons. It goes as far as politics. People in politics pay social media platforms for sway and for certain posts to be promoted in certain areas when it comes to political views and things like that. I understand that. But what I'm saying is, as an artist, right? I don't know, who is everyone's favorite band or singer or whatever? I don't see Noel Gallagher. Again, one of my I love Oasis. I don't see Noel Gallagher doing just content drivel for no reason. You know, what's your favorite spud? Like, uh, it's nonsense. And this is where I think with social media, you use it right, promote your releases, and you can as well use social media to share how you make your music, share the process, and that people actually have found you for. If people discover Brad Refresh today, I'd want them to be invested in who I am and what I'm about, like my music and mixes and things like that. So sharing the journey is fantastic, but doing polls for like what's your favorite bag of crisps, and like why is a DJ doing that? That's what I don't understand. Drew Norman says, I prefer to produce rather than to DJ. I find I enjoy it more. I sit in this room 60 to 70 hours a week. As sad as that sounds, I enjoy my own company. Obviously, I work here and I make my music here, so I love being in the studio writing music and whatnot. It's quite therapeutic. So I do agree with you on that one. Carl says, you don't see the CEO of a massive company chatting absolute nonsense about sharing irrelevant information about the company. Again, that is correct. I think there was a little bit of a buzz thing a few years ago with social media influencers and whatnot, and it was like, what do you bring to the table? It's like, let's say you're selling a phone as a product, and they say, oh, you need to engage with your audience a little bit more so they feel like there's a personal connection there. I understand that as well. That's all part of social media and promoting yourself. But what it isn't is when it becomes too far the other way and people start associating yourself with something else that's not the music. If like, oh, that's that guy who, that's that guy who's an influencer online. I would hate to be known as an influencer. I'm a DJ and that's it. I think that people, that's where we need to go. Like I said, there's pros and cons to this as well. DJ says, and when they post a mix saying competition saying .mp3 is a nightmare. Utters, I assume it was you who wrote that question in anonymously a couple of weeks ago. Josh Digital says, I agree with the AI side of it, but unfortunately, the way we work in the next 5 years, AI will be a major part of the world. I fully agree. I work within AI, and I think it's a marvelous thing as much as it is horrible as well. When it's shared on social media, I don't know who it is. It was okay. So obviously, I went through some of the pros there with regards to community reach, building an audience, things like that. The cons, obviously, you don't want to be the content creator or a DJ. You want to be a DJ first, or an MC, or a producer, or whatever you are and whatever you bring to the table. The algorithm thing, I hate that thing of chasing the algorithm and getting obsessed with numbers and engagement. Like I said, my engagement's down 65%, and I'm so happy about it because I'm not burnt out chasing that culture of it, and it just makes me sick, to be honest with you. And creativity influenced by content as well. This is where I'm seeing a real sad state of affairs, and this is what I mean. People are making tunes for 10-second clips. It should be you're making tunes for dance floors, And I've seen that. I'm glad that people have started changing the ways when they make tunes. Um, oh, DJ John G in the room says that his social media is actually down at the minute. He got a warning for something on it, which I don't think he was in the wrong. I've discussed it offline with him, but I won't get into it too much. But like his Facebook's banned. Does that therefore mean John G's irrelevant? I'm just going off the logic of what people are using, where they go, nowadays social media is everything when you've been an artist, because to me, it doesn't take any relevancy away from John. I think social media in that regard, that's where it becomes the devil, because promoters base you as how big you are and how successful you are based off a social media followers number. And it's a little bit disgusting if you ask me. The issue with people rather DJing or music to become popular instead of being popular through the love of the music. I agree with that, Carl. And again, we have questions that will suffice that as well in a second. Obviously, I told you about my experience. Told you about what the big problems are, in my opinion. Obviously, good music is being left out for good content, which is not good. And I've said about a good DJ versus a big following. And again, viral versus talented, that's another note I made there. When I said about viral versus talented, I'd rather work and watch somebody who's extremely talented at whatever they do and then watch like a viral sensation do something for 10 seconds. It doesn't follow me. And followers over real fans as well. This is something that really hit home with me. The people who watch this, the people who's in the Discord, the people who ask questions, these are real followers that we've got as part of like the MANIC journey, and people, and I appreciate them and know them all personally. And I talk to everybody who wants to have the conversation. If I ever come across as unapproachable, I always make that thing of like, listen, I get on with everybody who's here for the love of what we do. And that's, to me, that's the big thing. There's a lot of people who's in the game for the wrong reasons. I grew up loving trance and Italian, and got me into the bounce music, got me into the wider sort of range of music. I absolutely love this. And if you want to have that conversation with me about music, I will talk your ear off, because that's just the type of person I am. But a follower number sometimes doesn't dictate that, because you might have I've seen people who've got 20,000 followers who've turned up to a gig and no one's come to see them. I've seen that happen firsthand. So to me, like, I'd rather have real fans over followers, and I always say that to everyone as well. One thing that I feel, and again, I'm going to put this is my last point on this one, and then I'm going to ask you guys a couple of questions. And this is a big one for me. Many of my friends are more focused, and I'm saying this friends because I like these people, some of my closest circle. A lot of my friends would sit and rather come up with and make a reel than produce a record or a record mix. And that's where the problem lies. For me, I would only ever record a reel, or if I was like doing stuff, if I'd got my music stuff out the way first. Like, that's just my extra time that I've got, because to me it shouldn't be first. And the way that the world is right now, it's put it first, and that's just a shame. And I keep telling friends this as well. I was like, I know it's getting you reach and things like that, but a reel will be forgotten about unless you make something truly outstanding as a reel, what people talk about, like that went viral 10 years down the line. Work on a good record or a good mix that people are going to be talking about 10 years down the line, because that's what matters. So these are the questions I'm going to put out to you. Do DJs need social media? I think it's an obvious given, but what do you think? How much is enough when it comes to posting? Does follower account affect bookings, or do you think it does? And has social media changed the way producers and DJs use their music? So, like, if you're a producer, the way you make music, and then secondly, the way that you mix your tunes. Are you doing it to appease a short, fused audience where the attention span's just not there? Just digital. That's not social media. It's a big mix of social media and people's attitudes. Oh no, I absolutely agree. But the thing is, as a giant collective community, as a scene, people head things in a certain direction where they go, this is what matters. If you want to get bookings, you've got to focus on this because we want to see results from following, and that's what I mean by that. Like dancing to a Gremlin tune. Big shout, Mikey Davis. Yes, our our most successful video went viral on a reel, and ask anyone in the scene, they probably won't have seen it, which is a shame. But I think that done like a couple of million views in a weekend. Like John was messaging me, just print screens. Have you seen this? And then the next minute, have you seen this? And the views were just going up and up. And it was just one of our tunes that was released on Bouncy. And it was like good to see, but like it doesn't mean anything in the long run, does it? Hopefully people went and listened to the record, but it doesn't directly. Then I think it was like 3.2 million. If I had to put a guesstimate on it, we had 3.2 million views on this reel that Mikey Davis put up for a tune called Far From Okay that we did. And I was buzzing with it. John was buzzing with it, but like it doesn't translate to people like your tune blowing up, and that's what I was getting at. Evening, bouncing forces. How are we doing? So that's a topic of the week. What I want to do now is I want to go over some of the questions that people's wrote in. So as usual, every week we do the off-record section, which I think I've left the link in the description. So if you want to ask a question anonymously, feel free to do so. It's in there. We don't ask for your email address, phone numbers, anything like that. You just simply write the question, send it in, and we've got no way of tracing who it is. So if you feel like you want to have a discussion point on here, then feel free to write in on that one. So I'm going to go through some of the submissions we've had over the last couple of weeks. So this is off record, and regular listeners will know it's the return of Pissed Off Parrot. He's back. I don't know who he or she is, but Pissed Off Parrot has submitted another question. So this is from Pissed Off Parrot. The kids have got to learn. Whilst there's a new generation trying to push through, pretending to be something and someone in this day and age of social media presence isn't a good look. Wow, we've just been talking about that actually. I'd forgot this question was in here. Getting tracks made and your only input is pretending that you made it to make it making yourself look stupid. Putting a night on ripping off someone else's branding is also misleading. This is Donk UK. What next? Donk Till I Die, Flintstones, Liquid, Rescue Center, Poison. Sorry, I don't know what this means, but I got the first end of the question, but on the back end, I'm not quite sure. The kids need a lesson or 3 in etiquette and probably a slap or 2. Use your brains, be different, stand out. Copying will only get you so far and found out quickly, so pack it in. So this is some people's subsection of a favorite section. You've got off record, which people do like, and I appreciate that people do like submissions, but Pissed Off Parrot has returned, and he's got a way with words, whoever he is. So essentially what's been said there is, he's saying that the younger generation need to learn about etiquette, which in some cases I do believe. And it doesn't just go for the younger generation. I think it goes for the whole widespread of the bounce scene. I'm gonna do a shout too. I think it might have been Josh if he's listening. I seen something on TikTok. Joshy Digital put something on TikTok the other day, and it's, for me at least, summarized like how irrelevant we all really are. And what it is you see some people who the prance around and the right shit on social media where they're giving it the I'm the fucking dog's bollocks of this world. And I think Josh did something the other day where he went, I think he went through Bolton, and he was asking people, like randomers on the street, do you know what bounce is? If you're in Bolton and you're asking people what bounce is or a donk, and the general public a lot of the time didn't know, they go, I know, put a donk on it. And to me, that just highlights how minute and small and irrelevant our scene is. Yes, it packs a punch with some of the talent we've got in it. I do understand that, and I'm not going to argue that point. But the fact of the matter is, we're all known. Even the top of the game is known by the British public 0.0001% know who you are. You're famous whilst you're in that club. So why you walk around thinking you're famous and thinking you're the big I am? I think that's what Pissed Off Parrot was getting to, where it comes about etiquette and people's attitudes. I've seen people just be cheeky to other DJs for no reason, and I just think it's not it's not nice. Like, that's the main thing. If I ever say take anything away from these conversations that we have, is the fact that we need to just be decent human beings, and that covers a lot of ground, by the way. I think being a fucking shithead is just wrong. Like, it's nice to be nice. It's nice to be nice when you see somebody else have success. It's nice to be nice to go and support your favorite artists. It's nice to be nice to people who pay to come and see you. Just be a decent person. That's like one thing I'd take away from all of this. Out of if I do 1,000 of these episodes, that's what I want you to take away. Just, it's nice to be nice. There's no need for some of the attitudes that we do have, and it's not just this scene. So I don't feel like I'm sitting on it, shitting on our scene. I've seen it in the old school scene. I've seen it in the hardcore scene. I've seen it in the drum and bass scene. It's wide, and this is it. So my first section, nail on the head. Just life in general, mate, that people and chat and being twats over. So this is it. Like, I can't understand when we talk like that. Pissed Off Parrots, obviously, I don't know who it is, but they've obviously got a bit of a chip on the shoulder, and that's fine. That's cool. You can be angry, because I get angry at some of the things or that I see online where I'm like, I'm seeing decent people just make fools of themselves, and I'm just like, come on. Like, I really want to support what you do, and I really want to support who you are, but treat people how you want to be treated, right? And you'll find that if you approach somebody, I had a conversation with somebody the other day. Sorry, I'm going off subject, but this is totally relevant to what we're talking about. I had a conversation in person with somebody the other day. They came over to me, and they came across straight away. I thought they were going to punch my head in, to be honest with you. And I was like, they come and with a bad attitude. I just like, whoa, is there a problem? What's up? And they were just angst up about something they wanted to complain about. I says, what's the problem here? And then as soon as you addressed it and stepped back, they went back to their normal selves. If you approach and talk to people the way that you want to be treated, then that's cool. That's what it is. Carl says, I will say, you can be nice just to just say nothing. I see a lot of people, you have to like share, support, clap for everything that everyone does. I disagree. I agree with you, Carl, there. I don't like, one thing I've always seen in this scene was, why you're not clapping for us? Why you're not like, or why you're not cheering for us? And people will say, everyone's in their own little circles, which everyone is in their own little circles. That's just when you were in school, you were in circles on the playground, and you had people who like rock music, and then you had people who like bounce music. There was just separation. But for me, I appreciate anything that's good. If I see something, I'm like, wow, this is really, really good, I'll share it. I'll repost it. If you can go on my SoundCloud now and just look on my SoundCloud, I've reposted people's music on there, people I don't know, just because I think it's good enough to share. I will always support people. I think when there's too much mediocre where people are like, well, I'm not getting support of somebody on so and so, and it's like, well, why are you not getting the support? Is it because the music's not good enough? Is it your attitude? What is it? And for me, I know a lot of people don't share my shit. I used to get a little bit annoyed about it because, like, in my messenger, they'll be like, "Oh, I love this tune. I like. Can you send me it over and whatnot?" And I send it over, but then it would just be like, "That's your last you hear from them." And that's the reality you've got to face in this scene. Like, not everybody will share your stuff. I get that. No, agree, Carl. Everything can't be liked, shared, because it waters everything down and makes amazing mean a bit nothing. Yeah, that's true, definitely. And Otis says, doggy dog world, there's many people doing the same thing. If you can't act like an idiot, be humbled, you get replaced by somebody who plays the same as you. And that's absolutely true. You do get replaced. Everyone is extremely, extremely easily replaceable. I cannot deny that. the amount of times I've seen people be replaced because of an attitude or because they've made some really weird decisions in life. And the same goes for me. I've been replaced by people in the past. It's just the way of life. And that's just not in bounce music. That's in, that can happen in work, that can happen in social circles. It's just one of those things. Bouncing forces. We've been in this scene for long. Best way to sort this situation is just be yourself, keep away from the bullshit. I agree. So, pissed off parrot, if you want to make yourself known, if you're watching this, throw another question and we'll have another question from you next week. I promise you, what we'll do is, as a little bit of fun, whoever pissed off parrot is, I'll do a feature for you every week. If you write something in. This is from a DJ, anonymous. Do you think there's a big mix in this scene with DJs who love the music and have a passion for DJing to people who just DJ and get off their faces and don't care what they're doing as soon as you've heard the word rave these days? Drug use is mentioned. Okay, this is quite an interesting one. For me personally, there's a DJ or an MC or whatever who are DJs. They can go and they can turn up and they can play any venue, any time of the night, and that's it. What I will say is, you have these record DJs who, and if you're offended by that term, then cool, because you can go out and enjoy yourself and be a record and whatnot, but you can't complain when you get dropped off gigs and whatnot, because if you're turning up off your trolley playing a god awful set because you are wrecked and you can't like control what you're doing essentially, then you don't deserve to be on the lineup. And to me, you're not a real DJ. Like, as plain as simple as it is, if you're paid, I don't know, £100, £200 to turn up and DJ for an hour, yeah, okay, there's always the DJ's argument of, yeah, but there's preparation involved in that, there's the travel involved in that. I understand. We all do it for the love of the game, though. That's why we're here. I've got a full-time job. The people who's in the room have probably got full-time jobs as well, and they all do it for the love of the game. But somebody's put their hand in their pocket to pay you money. Therefore, in my opinion, you've got to provide a service. You can't turn up, be absolutely wasted, and that's my point of view on this. So yes, whoever's wrote that in, there is a distinctive difference, and I think the people involved in the scene know that as well. And what I mean by that is, there's promoters involved in the scene who put on certain artists who, the more ravers who DJ rather than anything, and they'll go, right, we'll put them on in, we'll put them on in room 2. They'll bring 5 people with them. Is it right? Personally, I don't think it's right, but like, it's been like that for years, and it's not going to change. But that said, I will say this: when you get a DJ who's passionate and they're really skilled and they have the magic to create their own following without being the person who's having to go back to the after party kitchen sessions and basically become the popular one in the group, to get people through the door, they are like magic. They are like magic. Let me see what we've got here. Oh, yes, Reedy's in the room. Interesting topic. At the end of the day, DJs, producers do it because we love to see what's going on the dance floor. Is it just me? Money caused the bullshit in especially bounce scene. 20 years I produced. This is from Bouncing Forces. 20 years I produced Bouncing Forces. I've not received 1 penny from our tracks. Just shows you can do it with for the love. I do believe you can do it for the love, but I'm going to throw something the other way as well. You need to be valued at the same time. And what I mean by that is, I've lost places on gigs because somebody's tried to take the piss. And this is me, like, heart on sleeve moment almost. I've been on gigs where the promoters said, we've agreed whatever price, and I've turned up and I've ended up they've oh yeah, I'll pay you whenever. Okay, no worries. And then I'm always sound like that. If you can't pay me till the following week, that's cool. Like that's sound. I have no issues. I know that Skiddle always comes through like the Thursday after. And I'm having to chase these people up for my money to make the journey worthwhile. Like, I know I'm based in Cumbria, so for me, it's like 50 quid fuel wherever I go to begin with, anyways. So for me, do I want to? How do I want to approach this? Like, I'm having to chase somebody up for my fuel money, and like obviously gig money as well. But like you're already £50 out of pocket before, like, and you've drove there and you've done the DJ set. You've got to put value to your time as well. I think. Let's see what we've got here. Joshua Digital says 100% you should be professional. No if or buts, just my opinion, but makes it right. Absolutely, professionalism is what it's about. You do have the absolute like funny people in the scene who go there and they'll do the set and then get mangled. I'm cool with that because they've already done the job they were paid to do. Now they've gone out as a raver. That's cool. I'm not that person personally. I turn up to my gigs. I will talk to people, socialize, and whatnot. But I will not go and get wrecked and whatnot. But those that do, I don't have a problem with that because you've already been paid for your service and you've done what you've needed to do. You've done your performance to the best of your ability. You might have one person who's paid to come and see you. You might be on a gig, right? And you might have one person who's travelled a distance to come and see you play on that gig. Do you really think that you're going to have that fun at the end of the night if they've turned up and you've been absolute trolleyed and they've went, I've came to see DJ X, and honestly, they just ruined everything. It's one of them never meet your heroes moments. Again, just a thought. Starve days following what I do. Carl says we're all overindulged on the job at times. Personally, I don't enjoy playing unless I'm sober these days. Yeah, that's cool. If you're going to get to the point, you should just have to get paid, or you shouldn't. Should you? Reedy says, I got bookings once upon a time. Didn't take long for that to stop once I stopped using Facebook. Again, social media does kill it off. If you're not active on social media, you sort of fade away into the darkness. My long-term plan for this is once we do this, I'm going to do this every week, and this is me just being again a bit behind the curtain. Once I'm happy with the weekly following we get on this, I'm probably going to delete my social medias because I'm not one of these people. I don't want to be the next Calvin Harris. I don't want to be the next king of the bounce scene. That's not what I'm here for. My thing is I'm here to enjoy the journey first and foremost. Secondly is to I want to document the scene so it's remembered for a long time. So that's making like things like little documentaries, that's doing podcasts, that's doing all the music stuff behind it. And then the next thing is education as well. So I want to show people how to make music. I want to do, and this is what the YouTube channel is for. And as well, the MANIC stuff. If everyone comes to YouTube when there's a new MANIC release, I'll be cool with that. But I would say probably in the next year or so, I'm probably going to disappear from social media just because I don't like it. Will my bookings fall off? My 0 bookings, probably, yeah. I've got 4 or 5 things coming up. 2 of them which are announced. But like, I'm happy with the little I get at the minute. I used to get frustrated that I was losing out on bookings because of certain aspects, but I've just got past that, to be honest with you. Yeah, I get people surprised I'm still alive. Reedy, I love getting a random message from you every now and again. It makes me smile. Let's take a look. We'll do one more question. So question, why are nobodies doing 20 years of and friends dues? You can't leave the job for 80% of your 20 years service and still expect to get the Rolex. Can't leave your wife for 15 years, then have an emerald anniversary party. Fucking gimps, man. Lovely question we've had in there. So I'm going to address the sort of maybe the elephant in the room here. Me and John did MANIC and Friends. Hands up, and John will tell you the same. I ripped that concept off from a comedian. I'd never ever seen any other music people do it ever. I've never seen a something in Friends. I come up with MANIC and Friends because I am a huge fan of the Have a Word podcast, and they did Adam Rowe and Friends, and they did Dan Nightingale and Fiends, and I thought, wow, that's quite a cool concept. get some of your mates together, put a gig on. So from me, I thought, you know what, we're going to do Manic and Friends. We're just going to do Manic Music, the event, but I thought we'll do Manic Music and Friends. It's a bit more intimate and get your friends there and whatnot. And we did 3 or 4 events. And then I remember, I think somebody sent me a WhatsApp one day. I can't remember who it was. And it was a flyer of so-and-so and friends. And then another one, literally so-and-so and friends. It's like, someone's copying your idea. Okay, I didn't come up with the idea. Is it annoying that somebody had the same concept? Not really. If it was 100% my idea, like, as in, like, I'm going to do this and it's innovative and whatnot, then cool. But these and friends things, like, they're cool for what they are, but you need to have a reason to do them. You can't just do like a DJ random and friends for like and there's no context to what it's about, or there's no certain vibe that's set for it. When we did Manic and Friends, there was like almost like an agenda to what the lineups looked like and things like that. And these 20 years of, so I have seen a few of these. The oldest one I've seen was, I might be mistaken on the numbers, but 35 years of Billy Bunter. I think it was. He wasn't 30, he was definitely 35. Anyways, I seen 35 years of Billy Bunter, and in my head I'm like, that's class. Do you want to know why it's class? Because he was there and he was present through the hard times, the good times, the highs and the lows. It is celebrating 35 years of Billy Bunter. And what I mean was, from when he started out, he was involved in the old school, then the hard house, the hardcore, the breaks, jungle. He was involved in funk and soul, electro, all the way through till 2026, and he's still going now strong. That, in my opinion, warrants a 35 years of so-and-so artist, or 35 years of a brand, or whatever that may be. I don't agree with somebody throwing like a 20, 30 year party when they weren't active for the majority of it. I don't think it's right. I know Farrell did one for 20 years of FEZ. That's cool. I think that works, in my opinion, because guess what? He's been there the whole 20. Like, he's been active. He's been through the highs, the lows, the trenches, as they say. So, in my opinion, it's warranted. There is people who see the concept and go, "Oh, I wouldn't mind doing that myself," but you need to have the fuel and the back catalogue to be able to do it. Do you know, if you skipped 10 years of this, there's a 10-year gap in where the music just wasn't there. It doesn't make sense. It does not make sense. Let's see what we've got here. Reedy says, at one of the Tidy Weekenders, the 6 hours of Farley time with several of his favourite people over the years was an absolute highlight. This is exactly what it is. I love that. I absolutely love it. And with Tidy as well, I remember they used to do like was it Tidy Friday? Tidy Friday was a thing. And what they do is, right, they'd go to like a local town and or city, wherever they were, whether it be, it could be Leeds, it could be Northampton, it could be London, it could be Workington, it could be, wherever. They're doing everywhere at one point. And on Tidy Friday, or I think Tidy Vision as well, they did like a tour. They've had different names, but anyways, they turn up and they'd have 3 DJs on. They'd have the Tidy Boys, they'd have a Tidy artist and another Tidy artist. They're your headliners. And supporting, they would have like local acts who it felt more intimate, because it wasn't just a whole room coming to your local town of DJs that weren't from your town. It was like a nice blend of, here's the attraction, here's the supporting artists, let's make it more intimate. I think that's a cool as fuck idea. I'm all about that. But these and Friends one don't really work. Just if you've got a theme, absolutely go for it. I could do today, I don't know, what is it now? 15 or 16 years of Brad Refresh. I wouldn't want to do it because, it's not really my thing, personally. But these like, anniversary things, I think it makes better use for branding the bout scene. So, for instance, it might be Sanctuary's birthday, it might be Elation's birthday. I think them birthday events are good because what I noticed up until recent as well, say like Sank as an example, I remember one of the Sanctuary birthdays, and it was almost like his Sanctuary through the years. So you'd have like the current ones on, you'd have the ones from like 10 years ago, then you'd have the OGs on, and I just thought it made a good journey through time. And I think that's why that works. I know Kenty's put an event on, which I was quite impressed with, was the 12 years of Pure. So obviously everyone knows what Pure is, but you look at the lineup and there's like different eras of Pure. So like you have the OG era with some of the artists on, then you've got like the era from pre-COVID, and then you've got the modern era now with the newer DJs on. I think I quite like that. If it's programmed correctly on the night, I think that works out to be pretty cool. I believe that's everything for today. I have got a couple of questions here, but I don't want to drag it out any longer than it needs to. But if you've enjoyed today, obviously let me know in the comments. It'd be hugely appreciated. If there was, if I say something that comes across as offensive to people, because by the way, I had to deal with this issue last week. And this isn't a public apology or anything. I think it was once it was explained to people, the person in particular, they were like, "Oh, sorry, I didn't know you meant it like that." I'm reading the questions here. I'm reading and speaking out loud and thinking out loud. I will not put on a persona that doesn't not upset people. But I'm not purposely going out there to upset people. I'm saying what the majority of the people behind the scenes are also thinking and won't say publicly, and I'm cool with that. I don't want to be known as this guy who just comes in for controversy. I'm a truth speaker, and if I feel something about something, I will strongly suggest, like, you don't know my politics, you don't want to know my thoughts on certain things, because I'm quite an aggressive with what I believe in, and I believe that we should preserve bounce music, and we should make these documentaries, and we should make and keep it like sacred, because if you don't, it just becomes flimsy, loose, and laughable in cases, and that's why I do this. So if I do offend anybody at any time, I'm sorry, but if there ever is a time that I offend you, just drop me a message, because I'm sure I can explain what I mean or what I meant and give you a context of why that is, because it doesn't come across as I don't want to come across as the bell end of the scene, because I'm not that. I support the scene fully, and it's sometimes you have to be harsh to get people to turn their heads and go, actually, yeah, we are being a bit lazy here, or we have slacked a little bit here. We need to sort of pull our socks up and start grafting. That's just the way it is. But yeah, what do we say? Top Talk would love you to come on my podcast at some point. Maybe not be your thing. Yeah, go for it, mate. Anytime. As I said, I did a podcast myself. Well, this is a podcast essentially in it, but yeah, I did a It's Time to Refresh podcast. It went for 99 episodes. We did have actually more than 99 episodes, because we had the Patreon behind the paywall and things like that as well. The truth hurts sometimes, but people need it. I agree, Utters. On that note, DJ Utters says the truth hurts sometimes and people need it. There you go. I'll finish on that one. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you again next week.